moron! Hey, moron! Dude! Look at me! I'm the water boy, dude!
Well, good morning, good people and Eagle fans. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm feeling good, man. I got up early this morning, dropped my wife off so she can go to Jazz Fest with the girlfriends, and I'm here actually working on the house, man. I've been outside already before it gets hot, pulling off old aluminum siding on my house, and I'm replacing it with vinyl siding. Going to make it look real nice, taking care of some issues that I have here, because like me, this house was built in 1984. Well, I was born 19 years earlier than that, but you got to do maintenance to keep shit up. If you don't, the house will rot out, crumble, and fall. Now, I don't know if this house will be here 200 years like the red brick house, but I'm going to do everything while I'm here to try and make it last as long as possible, because I can't afford to buy a new house these days. Have you seen the interest rates? They're kind of crazy. So here we are, the Dallas Cowboys getting a chance to catch their breath. Here's the great thing is we ended up getting two guys back that we said, they're trending towards playing, but we're not sure if they're going to be ready. And Trayvon Diggs and Tyler Guyton. Both of those guys played, and they both played well. Well, they get a little extended rest because, of course, playing on Thursday night, it would have been nice if they'd gotten the victory, but I'm not mad about it. It would have been nice if we got the victory, but they get a little extended rest while the Giants are getting ready to take on the Commanders with the left hand up. And we could catch our breath and heal up a little bit more. I'm actually excited about this season right now. I think Brian Schottenheimer showed you a lot of different things. First of all, when you think about now again, we did have the catastrophic fumble by Miles Sanders. But the fact that the Cowboys were able to run the football made life easier for the quarterback, Dak Prescott. They were more balanced, even going against the Philadelphia Eagles' stout defense in the middle, although they were out missing Jalen Carter. You have to understand how putrid our running game was last year. No disrespect to Zeke. I still have my fork and spoon. I used to love to see Zeke eat. I hope he doesn't eat too much now and that he blows up. But last year was abysmal. Everybody talks about how bad. Well, Dak wasn't playing good last year before he got hurt. You do realize that the Dallas Cowboys running attack, when Dak Prescott was playing, was the worst in the history of the Dallas Cowboys since they became a franchise in 1960. We were averaging about 68 yards a game. To put that in perspective, that one big run of Miles Sanders was literally how much we ran in some games, that one run. And if you are able to run the football and you've got two tight ends that are good, 12 personnel becomes deadly. Play action becomes deadly. And you can see the difference between Mike McCarthy, who, he just looks at it and says, I got a great quarterback. I'm just going to sling the rock 65% of the time. He did it with Aaron Rodgers. He did it with Dak Prescott. You can win sometimes like that, but your odds go up when you are able to be balanced. And see, that's what the winning formula has been for the Eagles. They can pass. They got elite receivers. But that running game is everything. And let's be clear here. Saquon was kind of taken out of that game. Saquon, 60 yards, that's chump change for him. But it was the 62 yards of Jalen Hurts being able to run the football that made all the difference in the world. It literally did. That, and they didn't make mistakes. They didn't have the drops. They didn't have the fumbles and things like that. It worked good for them. That, and they have a great offensive line. And that's where we're hopefully getting to, because if we have to go ahead and throw the ball 350, 400 yards a game to win, it's going to be difficult. And by being balanced, it's going to help out the defense. Now, here's the thing that's going to be a little bit surprising. I want to play, hopefully the audio won't get copywritten, but first things first is one of those ones that always does. But man, genius, as Tony Soprano would say, was talking about the reason the Cowboys lost wasn't because they didn't have Micah Parsons. Let's listen in.
So we're just gonna overlook CeeDee Lamb dropping three huge balls that could have been the difference in the game. We're going to overlook Miles Sanders fumbling the ball on the 11-yard that could have won the game. We're going to overlook George Pickens having that penalty on the 11-yard line that could have won the game. How about, are we going to overlook the fact that they held Saquon Barkley to 3.3 yards a carry, which is his second lowest average since September of last year against the Cleveland Browns? So what did the owner say? I want to stop the run. What did they do? They held the most prolific running back in the NFL to his second lowest rate in 2 years.
The Eagles scored every time they had the ball, the first four possessions. It doesn't, stopping the run is no use if they're still scoring touchdowns.
But hold on a second. We're talking about, is Micah going to be the difference? There were a lot of ways they could have won that game yesterday.
Totally
so
agree.
to say it was Micah Parsons not being there is the reason they didn't win. So they didn't contain Jalen Hurts. That was a problem. But I thought defensively, there was a lot of really positive things that the Dallas Cowboys did yesterday. And there were a lot of teams in the NFL that tried to stop Saquon Barkley all of last year that couldn't even come close to what the Dallas Cowboys did last night. So if we want to talk about, okay, it's all about Micah, I don't think that's fair to how the Cowboys played and what the reasons were why they lost yesterday.
Okay, now here's what I'm going to say. This is going to sound crazy, and you're going to be like, oh, here we go. Mark Holmes is full of shit. You might remember a situation where we had an up-and-coming edge rusher, and we ended up El Pasoing on him and not paying him, okay? And that was Randy Gregory. People told us how stupid we were by not paying Randy Gregory. Oh, the Joneses, they're freaking idiots, man. They're idiots. How could they not pay him? Right? And here's what's crazy. Stephen Jones said, well, when we look at Dorrance Armstrong, as far as production-wise, he's right there with Randy Gregory and things, and we have high hopes for Dorrance Armstrong to be able to fit the bill. And people laughed. I mean, they literally they laughed. I got to remember which is which. They laughed at him. They seriously did. They just, you got to be kidding me, Stephen Jones. And lo and behold, Dorrance Armstrong ended up having more sacks that year than Randy Gregory had any year that he was in the NFL. And in fact, Dorrance Armstrong had a couple of really good years with the Cowboys to the point where he ended up being so good that the Cowboys couldn't afford to keep him, and they let him go to Washington, where he signed a big fat contract along with Dante Fowler. So now, an even bigger one is Micah Parsons, and he does not re-sign with the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, the fact they held the Philadelphia Eagles in their house with a new defensive coordinator, a cornerback coming back from injury, having lost Jordan Lewis, your best slot corner, having just traded for a defensive tackle, losing your best player, that you held them to 315 yards. That's unbelievable. Excuse me. And here's where it kind of get crazy, because we saw with Clark in there, the Cowboys were actually pretty good at stopping the run. The problem with the Cowboys was stopping Jalen Hurts, and I don't know how you stop the referees, because they weren't calling holding calls. When a guy is running towards the quarterback and he's in between the offensive lineman and the quarterback, and the offensive lineman still has his hands on that guy, that is holding. He's trying to be pulled backwards. I don't know how else you can point that out. But they were being held. And if they call those, it's a different game. It's a different game. But, when you're Super Bowl champions, you get the benefit of the doubt. I get that. Okay. But one of the guys that played really well and played almost Micah-esque. Now, let's be clear here. The Eagles had problems, of course, with Landon Dickerson and everything else. He was hurt, their guards. But they still had their tackles. They still have the best offensive line in football. And Sam Williams ended up with 5 pressures. I don't know if he can keep that rate up, but you're looking at a guy, if that's the way he does, and if he'd got 5 against the Eagles, that arguably is the best offensive line in football, when you play some of these other teams that aren't as good, you might even get a few more. Currently, that's on pace for 85. And I believe that's what Micah Parsons had last year, be it in 4 less games. But you got production. Now, shout out to Marcus Mosher. This is actually a look at, and I hope I don't get copywritten, a look at some of the pressures that, oh boy, look, broadcast media, cameras out of the way, out of place. But we're going to show this, looking at a little bit of Sam Williams. Sam Williams got a lot of pressure on the night before. Let's go to the tape, okay? He's over here on this side. Wait a minute, yeah. Boom, look at that bull rush. And damn near got him. Bull rushed, okay? Here he is over here. Boom. Spins, pressure, pushes him. It's quarterback hit. Here he is on the other side. Boom. Sheds the block. Gets some pressure on him. Here he is. Boom. Boom. Taking on 2 guys. And still got pressure. Got rid of the first one. Hit the second one. And here he is over here. Right there. Boom. Drives his guy back, spins, and still comes away. Sam Williams coming back from the knee. Look at that. Boom. He's just got to get him. Sam Williams is definitely coming into his own. Now, it's a contract year. He needs to perform because he wants to get that big bucks. And after being injured last year, we were planning on relying on him a lot last year, but unfortunately tore his ACL in the beginning of training camp and wasn't there. If he can continue to do that and Clark gets into the Cowboys, gets into the rotation, gets all the plays and everything down and can play more minutes, guys, this defense is going to be actually a hell of a lot better than what you think. Remember, not everybody has an offensive line that's that good. So there's some hope for you as we sit here as Cowboy fans, where we looked at this and said, we're going to have to score 35 points a game. You held the defending Super Bowl champions that literally only lost 1 starter off their roster. 1 starter with the best running back, one of the top quarterbacks and top wide receiving cores, and a damn good tight end to 24 points. And you only gave up 3 points in the second half. As a Cowboy fan, I'm elated that maybe this defense isn't as bad and atrocious as it was last year, and that there's hope for this season. So as we get ready to get out of here, let's go to NFL Live and listen to grades that they had from the game.
Shall we? Because there was a game to be played. So RC, jump in on this.
Hold it. Let me get past the highlights there because I don't want to get screwed over.
honestly, I feel like, I can't point no fingers at nobody else, you know what I'm saying? And I take full accountability and everything else that come with it because, as for me as a player, I pray for moments like that, you know what I'm saying, and the ball to come my way. And obviously for me to not come up with it, bro, it stings a little bit.
Well, we found a way to win. And when you come out in week one, the different challenges and the different unknowns, it's just about finding ways to win. And I'm happy our team was able to do that. But, we just have to keep that hunger, keep that discipline within ourselves, and continue to play together and find ways to win.
Here's the thing about Jalen Hurts. He really didn't take too many risks yesterday. Completed 83% of his passes, second best in his career. Just one of them traveled more than 15 yards downfield. That was a 51-yard completion to Jahan Dotson. I mentioned the 2 rushing touchdowns on the tush push. He has 88 in the last 4 seasons, 38 more than the next closest player, which is, as you might guess, Josh Allen. Swagoo, Hurts really took what the defense gave him yesterday, used his legs for the win. How did facing a defense without Micah Parsons factor into that game?
Yeah, I couldn't help but think about what about chase downs, and that's something that I marveled with Micah Parsons, his athletic ability, his speed, especially when you have quarterbacks like a Jalen Hurts. Maybe he would have got there a couple steps before Jalen converted a third down with his legs. Maybe he would have got there in the backfield to sack him. These were the type of things that kind of glare when you look at his absence, right, with these athletic quarterbacks. And you think about this pass rush for the Dallas Cowboys. They had some success, but a lot of football now, and RC knows this as well, is your ability to convert and chase. And I'm going to bring that up all season long. You think about the Myles Garrett. You think about Micah Parsons now in Green Bay. You think about these elite rushers with the speed and the ability to even corral quarterbacks when they do break outside the pocket. That was the thing that was missing from this defense last night, is having that one guy that can get on his horse and chase down a quarterback like Jalen Hurts and negate a third down conversion, which ended up playing a huge factor in this football game, especially with his legs.
Let's talk about what was missing from the defense on the other side. Obviously, Jalen Carter is an incredibly unique player, right? I mean, his loss loomed large, but you mentioned over the highlight, they just kept targeting Adoree Jackson over and over. What are concerns about this defense going forward?
Listen, we knew the entire offseason who was going to play opposite Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell, as a rookie, was one of the best cornerbacks in all of the league. And Adoree Jackson won the job. They tried Keely Ringo in the preseason, but what I saw last night was whether it was CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, in the most important moments, they went to the guy that Adoree Jackson was covering, and we're going to see that for the entire season. Listen, you do not want to be the village bicycle where everybody gets a ride, and so now when you're playing these teams who have elite 1Bs or have elite number 2 receivers, Adoree Jackson is going to be locked on those guys in one-on-one situations, and he will be the target. Vic Fangio is going to have to figure out a way to roll coverage, play double, and allow Quinyon Mitchell to go one-on-one with maybe a number 2 to alleviate some of the stress on Adoree Jackson. And don't get me wrong, Marcus, we all know, and you know this as well, Mina, a little rush from Jalen Carter where Dak Prescott could have some people around his feet may help a little bit as well.
Man, I just keep going back to the village bicycle and an image of Marcus and Mina on a bicycle. One of my favorite
Disney.
That's my dog.
One of my favorite.
Okay, we're going to end it right there. So, again, there were some good things that we saw, some questions that are beginning to be answered. But remember, it's still September football. Don't start, all of a sudden, we're going to be great and everything else. I've seen how New Orleans came out last year. They kicked our teeth in and then proceeded to just go down the toilet. It's the NFL, people. Shit gets crazy. As always, I appreciate you guys, and we will keep you up to speed with everything that is the Dallas Cowboys. Don't forget, today, 5 o'clock, we'll be doing our call-in live stream at 5 o'clock. If you are a channel member, be sure to go to the community tab. The link will be in there. Peace out.
I can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're one on the phone. Everything's going to be all right. Please.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
Yourself. gotta get out of here.